Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to be sharing another Guyanese street food recipe. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my recipe for cassava balls. Now this right here is one of the simplest, one of the easiest Guyanese street food recipes to put together. All it is some boiled and mashed cassava or yucca that you put in some fresh seasonings into, and then it is rolled into a ball, it is dusted in some flour or a batter, and then it is fried. These are so yummy, so delicious on their own, but they're also even better with a great little tamarind sauce or tamarind sour, or even some mango sour, mango chutney. So I'll have those recipes for those sauces and condiments linked in the description box down below, so make sure you check those out. And of course, you gotta get in your kitchen really quick and really soon so you can put these cassava balls together. Let's get into it. Now a good cassava ball obviously starts with the cassava. As you guys can see in my bowl here, I have that beautiful white and pure cassava that I just finished chopping up. Let me go into the next screen and share with you guys how I cleaned my cassava in a very easy way. So I sped up this part of the video because if you guys have been following my channel intently, I recently posted my recipe for a cassava and chicken ball, and in that video I went really in depth and step by step on how to clean and prepare the cassavas. Now I'm showing it again, but I'm showing it much shorter than I did in that video. Basically, you want to get a good cassava, you want to go ahead and chop it into small pieces like I did here. Then you're going to go ahead and run your knife through it. I like to make one single slit, and then I'll push the knife through very carefully, and I'll peel it until all of that skin is gone, and then you just cut it in half or into whatever size pieces you want to get them ready for boiling. Now I'm going to continue that process until I'm done cutting all and I can cook. So here's all of the cassava that I finished cleaning. I went ahead and I peeled them all and I cut them all into halves. Now a little word of advice: when you're at the grocery store looking for fresh cassava, you want to go ahead and break off the tips, and if you see that they're white on the inside, then you're going to want to pick that one up. But if they have little spots or black specks on the inside, you want to leave that because they're not good. And by all means, if all you can find is the frozen cassava that's already peeled and cut, then you can go ahead and use that as well. Now to flavor these cassava balls, I'm going really simple and really traditional with the flavoring agents. So in my mortar pestle, I have some hot pepper as well as some garlic. Now you put as much or as little hot pepper and garlic in as you would like. This is basically to taste. Now I'm going in with a good amount of garlic because it really needs it. And as you guys can see, I went in with one pepper here. I did actually crush another one after this and put it in because I found that it was not spicy enough. But this is what I'm doing, and I'm mashing it up really well. So here is the garlic as well as the hot pepper that I pounded in my mortar and pestle, and I have some homegrown scallions that I went ahead and chopped up really fine and put in my bowl as well. I'm going to set these aside, and then I'm going to work on the cassava so we can put together these cassava balls. Now once you finish your prep work, the steps are pretty easy from here. So in a large pot, I've gone in with some water, and once that water is coming up to a boil, you're going to want to go in with some salt. Remember, the salt is in here to start flavoring that cassava. I find that when you salt it after it's boiling versus putting some salt in the water, it tends to taste a little bit bland. So make sure you add salt to your water. And then at this point, I'm going to carefully drop in all of my pieces of cassava, and I'm going to boil them until they're fork tender. Now, after about 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and start to baby them a little bit. Start to stab them with a fork just so you can get an idea of how long they're going to take to cook. If you overcook these, then what happens is the cassava gets too mushy, and when you make the cassava balls, they tend to fall apart in the hot oil, and that is not what you want. So make sure they are just cooked enough to where that fork just goes through it. Now I have a piece of my cassava here, and I'm going to go ahead and stab it with my fork, and I'm going to show you what it should look like as you're stabbing it. As you guys can see, it goes through easily, but it's not going through very quick. It has a little bit of give to it. So that's exactly what you want. That's the step that you want to take it off of the heat. I say this because once you strain it, it continues to cook just a little bit, and you do not want it to overcook. If it overcooks, again, they will fall apart when you make those cassava balls. So go ahead, drain it now, leave it in your colander, and let them cool just slightly. I've got my cassava here in my bowl. After I drained it, I let it cool for just about 5 minutes, so this way I can handle them a little bit better. As you guys can see, it's still smoking, it's still pretty hot, but I'm going to go ahead and work with it now because if you allow it to cool down fully, it will be very hard to mash. So basically all I'm doing once I got them into my bowl is I'm removing these woody stems from the inside of the cassava. Now you can do this when you are actually cleaning the cassava before you cook it, However, I just prefer to do it after cooking because I find it's easier to come out. All you do is pull it out like that. So I'm going to continue to do this for all of the pieces, and then I'll show you what to do next. Once you finish cleaning all of your cassava and getting those woody stems out from the middle, it's time to add some butter. Now I recommend using salted butter for this, but if all you have is unsalted butter, that will work just fine. And the reason why we add butter is to give that cassava a nice creaminess and a nice lusciousness. When you bite into these cassava balls, they are going to be unlike any other. Trust me, you will miss the butter if you do not add it. So once you add that butter in, you're going to go ahead and start to mash. As you guys can see, these are not like potatoes, they don't mash very easily. You just got to take your time, use some elbow grease, put in the effort, and I promise these cassava balls will be great. So let me continue mashing, and I'll get back to you in a second. In the process of mashing, I am going in with my salt and some pepper. Now again, I did salt the water before I was cooking, but I want to go in with just a little bit so this way I can make sure it's flavored well, and I'm adding in the black pepper. Now once you finish mashing it to the fullest extent, you're going to go in with that garlic and pepper mix, and you're also going to mix in those chopped scallions really well. Now once you finish mixing the cassava with the hot pepper, the garlic, the scallions, as well as some salt and pepper, you're going to go ahead and roll them into balls. Now you can make them as big or as small as you would like. I like them more of a medium size, I don't like them too big, but this is how I did them, and at this point we are going to begin to fry. Now traditionally, a lot of people will make a batter similar to pilori or bara, just depending on where you're from in Guyana or how your family makes it, but quite honestly, I do not like using any type of batter on my potato balls or cassava balls or anything like that. I say this only because I find that when you put those batters on these things, they tend to soak up a lot of oil and they become very heavy, and you can't really enjoy it when you go to eat it. So I just like to put on a little dusting of flour. I didn't even season the flour or anything because the cassava is seasoned so well. Now I recommend this way just because it's nice and crispy and it stays crispy, and trust me, you will enjoy it. It's not as heavy as the batter, but by all means, if you want to put a batter on this, you can follow either my pilori recipe or my bara recipe. And once you get those batters made, you can cover them and then you can fry from there. But I'm going to continue covering all of these balls with my dry flour, and then we'll fry. And once I finish flouring all of my cassava balls, I'm going to go ahead and drop them into my hot oil that I've been heating up on a medium to medium high heat. When you first add them in, you do not want them to be sizzling furiously, because if they are, these can tend to burn very quick on the outside just because we have the dry flour. This is sort of what you want, a constant bubble, something really nice that's not getting too dark too fast. So I'm going to cook them for about 1 minute on each side or 2 minutes on each side, just until they are golden brown all over. And after about every 30 seconds, you're going to want to go in with a fork or some type of slotted spoon and just move them around a little bit so this way they can get an even golden brown coloring all over. I've been cooking my cassava balls on a medium-high heat for about 3 minutes at this point, and they are ready to come out. If you give them a little tap on the surface, they are nice and crispy, and of course you can see how beautiful and golden brown they are all over. These are just waiting to be cut in half and dipped in some mango or some tamarind chutney. So I'm going to continue to fry out the rest of my cassava balls. Every time I'm done frying a batch, I'm going to put them on a plate that I've lined with some paper towels, and this way all of the excess oil will be drained off, and then they will be ready to serve. So that is how quick and simple it is. If you guys are ever looking for a quick little snack or something that you even want to make for lunch or breakfast, this is the thing that you can make. And it is vegetarian, it is vegan, and it will be perfect for you and your family to enjoy. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. Join the Matthew's Guyanese Cooking family. Make sure you click that red subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I post my newest videos. And of course, leave your amazing comments down below. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye everyone.